Climate change continues to pose serious challenges across Africa, disproportionately affecting vulnerable communities. In response, the National Human Rights Commission has launched a climate change unit to address the intersection of environmental issues and human rights. Our correspondent Emeka Amako reports from Abuja.
The National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) has taken a bold step in addressing climate-related human rights concerns with the launch of a climate change unit. The initiative was announced at the 2025 Regional African Human Rights Academic Network Conference in Abuja. The conference brought together academics, policymakers, and human rights advocates from across the continent to discuss the urgent need for climate action. Speaking at the event, experts at the conference noted that Africa contributes the least to global greenhouse gas emissions. They called for stronger policies and legislative action to protect vulnerable communities.
Africa contributes the least to global carbon emissions, but yet bears a disproportionate burden of climate change. Rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, desertification, and extreme weather events are no longer distant threats. They are happening right now. Climate justice demands that those who suffer the most from climate change receive adequate support and protection.
Sub-Saharan Africa produces less than 4% of the greenhouse emission, yet it suffered the worst effect of climate change. This is more than an environmental injustice, it's a moral failure. The children of tomorrow will grow up in a world, in an environment which is already damaged. And this is the choice they have never made.
They also highlighted the increased impact of climate change on human rights, particularly in Africa, where rising temperatures, extreme weather, and environmental degradation continue to threaten lives and livelihoods.
My team and I last week of January and first week of February, we had the privilege of going to the 9 Niger Delta states, where we saw firsthand the impacts of sea level rising on the coastal communities. And we advocated the need for nature-based climate solutions, starting with the restoration of the mangroves. And so you see, these are real-life issues, and it's not just thesis, it's not academic conversation. It is real-life things that we are going through as a country.
As an institute, we would like to call for continued collaboration and partnerships across African universities, working with African bodies, human rights bodies, civil societies, government institution, international organization, to ensure that environmental and climate justice are prioritized and also explored within the human rights framework.
To tackle the injustice where the least polluting regions suffer the most from climate change, a combined approach using both local and international legislation remains the most effective solution.
Climate change justice demands that those who suffer should be recompensated, should be compensated in one way or the other. You know, that should be something to cushion the effect of the burden of climate change that they bear, more than the people who generate the pollution that causes climate change.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of the Climate Change Act 2021 to the NHRC, reinforcing Nigerians' commitment to climate justice and human rights protection.